All right, so welcome back. In this video, we're going to be dealing with step 2 and the step 3 of the long way home. So that's activity 6 in the ant scenario. So we're basically dealing with this part. After we've noted that we were recently at the center of a pheromone, what should we do? And then what should we do if we just haven't found any pheromones at all? Okay, we kind of added that part in afterwards, but I'll explain how it all fits into the algorithm when we get there. So at this point, okay, we are going to have it get to the center, just kind of like this diagram shows us, get to the center, and once it does, it's going to forget that that it's running into any other pheromones. It's not even going to pick them up. It's only going to keep walking away from home for 30 steps. Keep walking away, walking away, walking away, and not even detect another pheromone. So to do that, we're going to head back to our ant class. All right, so now we're noting if we found a pheromone. Now, before that even happens, because we want to prioritize this, we want to make it so that the very most important thing it does is that if it recently found pheromone, walk away from home. You're about to find food. Great, okay? And finding a pheromone is kind of the second level of like, okay, well, if you haven't recently found the center, but you found a pheromone, great, let's do something about it. So this is actually going to be an else if, okay? So the first thing we're going to have here is the if statement, the priority if statement. Now I'm going to add some brackets in just to kind of explain this else if, just in case you haven't seen something like this. Basically what happens is if this statement is not true, if this, whatever's inside these round brackets ends up being not true, it's then going to go here and check this instead, but only if this isn't true. Okay, so if this is true, it's not going to go to here and it's not going to go to here. But if this isn't true, it's going to check if this is true, and if this isn't true, it's going to do whatever it says down here. Basically, it's like saying, if this line of code is true, do it. Otherwise, if this line of code is true, do it. All else, go over here. So let's fill this out. So this is supposed to be if we recently found a pheromone drop in the past. Let's go with in the past, it's supposed to be 30 iterations. So in order to check that, okay, what we're going to do is we are going to use this hit center recently. Here. Hit center recently. So if we hit the center recently, if that is equal to true, okay, you don't have to put the true there, it'll just still execute. If you just said if hit center recently and it was true, but we'll put it there so you understand. If hit center recently is true, then we want to be counting. Now, the thing is, we haven't created a counter for this yet. So let's go to the top and create a counter. And this counter is going to be private int, and it's going to keep track of how recently we found something. So we'll do it, we'll do recent pH. We'll call it recent pH. And what we'll do is we are going to set this to 30. So it's like a countdown. Okay? So what's going to happen is we'll have it like almost like a timer. We could count up or down. It really doesn't matter. If you feel more careful or more comfortable with it counting up, that's totally cool. Okay? But what we're going to do is we set it to 30 at the top. Now, of course, we want to make sure that this is dummy proof. And we want to see if we hit the center, then it's time to walk away So we hit center recently equals true, but we're also going to change that recent pH to equal 30 here as well. Now that's so that it resets every time we have hit the center of a pheromone. So if we haven't recently found a pheromone and we hit the center of a pheromone, it's going to then set this to true, and it's going to set recent pH to 30 to reset our little countdown timer. Now we can go up here and use this. So if hit center recently equals true, we're going to say recent pH minus minus. So we'll say count down from 30. And what we're actually supposed to do is walk away. So walk away from home. Because we know that if an ant is dropping off pheromones and they're walking home, you need to go in the opposite direction for food. So we have that method, walk away from home. Okay, ants instinctively know where their home is, so if you just tell them to walk away, they will do it. So walk away from home. Okay, the next piece of what we're going to do here is we are going to check, have we walked away enough? Okay, we're going to say, have we walked away for 30 yet? Okay, so we're going to say if recent pH is equal to 0. Okay, that means we've reached the end of our countdown. So I'll add a little note here. If we've reached the end of our countdown. Okay, so if we've reached the end of our countdown, what do we want it to do? Well, it no longer recently found a pheromone. We want to say, okay, no longer have we hit center recently. Okay, that is going to be false. Okay, we have not hit the center recently. Okay, and so it will stop going into this particular section here. Okay, so it's going to stop going into this particular section. It won't walk away from home anymore. But you'll notice with how we've readjusted our code, at every stage of the game, it will always check, have I run into a food pile? Okay, so at each stage of this, it's going to say, have I recently hit the center? If I have, walk away from home. Keep walking, keep walking, keep walking. Okay. Otherwise, if we found a pheromone, head towards the center of it and record that we found the center if we have. Otherwise, walk around randomly. But then always check at the end. Have we run into food? If we have, definitely pick some up and start carrying it. So let's test our algorithm. Let's see if it works. It's going to wander around, wander around. Let's see, let's see. Come on, ants. Okay, here we go, here we go. Is this happening? Looks like it's happening. They're walking away. They're finding more food. Looking pretty good. Doesn't look like anybody's getting stuck. Everybody's going where they should. It would look good right when we get to this point where they're finding food here. Okay, this guy's home is over here, so he's dropping off pheromones. Oh, there's another ant. Found some. Oh, we gotta get some more ants finding food. All right, here we go. Walk away, walk away, walk away. Looking pretty good. These guys are walking away where they should go. So that concludes the scenario. We've got now our ants picking up tons of food. We've got piles gone. They've now been able to find the food a little bit easier. So that finishes our ant scenario.